Started out just a little slow. It seems like I was almost late. My dog does not understand what time it is, and he's not a morning person. All he knew is he needed to go outside at the wrong time. So, good morning, everybody. Today is critical day in the market. This is the the day that's going to get us all the way into the March and up to the Fed meeting. The way that things go today will make or break swing trades, destroy accounts. It is a game changer today. We're headed up, we're headed down. There's not going to be any ambiguity in the middle of this. CPI numbers are coming out today, and it is the most impactful, more than anything else that I could think of coming into this entire month, and for most of next month. It's that big, and it shouldn't be something that you're like, oh damn, really? I didn't know that was coming. Come on, guys. This is what we do these morning briefings for, to get ahead of the game, to know that there are these economic events. We get a lot of questions at the bullish bears. Why are we not posting a lot of trades? Well, nobody wanted to get into the market before this big reading. Why allocate a lot of capital into the wrong direction when all we have to do is be patient, let today come out, and deal with it then? So we do have jobless claims too. That is nothing compared to the CPI. They'll be coming out at the same time, so you won't really notice a difference. If you're trading in the evening or early in the morning, you probably want to get some kind of news that allows you to keep track of what's going on over in England, because it's like midday for them through our morning. So you see, we got a couple of bright spots, elevated areas of impact. Come into Market Watch. CPI, jobless claims. The gas report's no big deal, but we do have auctions in 3 different locations today: 11, 11:30, and 1 o'clock. And then the statement at 2. Um, we always talk about how a market can shift. You can reshape the entire marketplace at 11, 11:30, or 1 o'clock with these additional auctions. And it's a very immediate response, which is really cool, because if you're waiting on the 11 o'clock, by 11:05, if you didn't see a response, you know there's not going to be one. You're good to go. Same thing at 11:30. If there's an additional auction at 11:30 and you're waiting on the response, within 3 to 5 minutes, if nothing's happened, yeah, you're good. You go do something else. Don't sleep on these. The clock is one of the most important tools that you have at your disposal, and it's the one that most new traders ignore. Hour, half hour, and 15-minute time frames. When it comes to coding machines, it's an easier way to do business when you've got to tell it to look at a lot of different things. Plus, when it comes to the government, they're not going to do something at 11:08, right? They're not going to do something at 11:13. They're going to do it on the quarter hour, the half hour, and the hour. So even if you may not know it, that there's an FX report or some other, like an ag report, we don't go through those things, but I'm telling you, they're out there. So, we can't know every report. We can't keep track of every one that may or may not be impactful. We're hitting the big ones here, but these are not all of them. Quarter hour, half hour, 1 hour. You watch the clock during those time frames, and you can save yourself a lot of pain. So for today, it's all going to be the numbers. No amount of technical analysis in the world is going to help us resolve what are we going to do. Well, if the numbers are bad, if the numbers are bad, we're headed to this magnet up here. That's the CPI magnet, 4608. That's the ES. Two things will either head to it and stop on it, literally there, just stop there, like a magnet, or we'll go through it, come back down to it on the other side. That's the top side magnet. Think of it like a gravity point to the extreme. Earth magnets, isn't that what they call those things? To the downside, if the market does not like the news that we're going to be getting today, we're going to cripple right through that Globex, take everything back from that run the other night, and 44.50 to 44.75 area would be my target to the downside. Let's add the ADR. So we've got an average daily range of 2%. Right now we're basically flat, which makes sense. Nobody wants to commit because we got the report coming out. So if we were to put on a 2% move, that puts us around 44.84. Be my midpoint between 44.50 and 4,500. 44.75 fits just about where we would expect it to be. All right. So say in the middle of this box, but the top of that box has no merit to it. Right? We got the 10 moving average here. That's that blue line, the daily 10 period moving average. We'd expect to run right through that thing like it's not even there. So that'd be the downside. We've already talked about the upside. For the NASDAQ, we do have the 10 low right around that 825 area. If the news is bad, I don't think we're going to stop there. Should be able to get right through that. And we'll be aiming for around the midpoint of this range here. So around 14,600 to the downside. We've got an ADR of 3% and we're basically flat. So if we were to run it down this way and give ourselves, not even 3%, it puts us at that line. We can see that it's within our grasp. The CPI is at 830, so I'm not sure what you mean by no update yet. It's at 830. Got the 50 over our head at the ADR high. If we're basically flat, we could easily see a 3% move that direction. 2.5% puts us at 15,400. That would be above both of those. And when you take it out to the higher time frame and you look at what it would be focused on, 15,400 is above this pivot point here. If we start getting into squeeze and popcorn stops like we talked about before, getting into that 15.6 area, 15.4, 15.6 shouldn't be that big of a deal to the upside, right? So we're talking about revisiting these lows or getting above these highs. Now, we always want to approach it from the idea that the market really can do anything, right? It really can. There is the third possibility that we don't do anything and the market just kind of shrugs. I find that really, really unlikely. Right? This is one of the most anticipated numbers to come out for the entire month. But it's possible that it's just mixed enough that they have to call the nerds and wait for the nerds to give them some guidance. So it is possible that we have a CPI report and that they don't know what to do with it, right? So I don't want to take that off the table and say that it can't happen. It's just very, very, very unlikely. All right, so you can see the VIX is starting to fade back down. We're not yet back below 20. Keep your eye on the backwardation contango levels in there we've talked about before. Dollar in the bonds, really for the last 2 days, are exactly where they were, kind of moving around like a hamster on a wheel and not getting anywhere. That move right before I started streaming came from the bonds. Just kind of keep your eye on them this morning. The 10-year went really good. I think we have the 30 today. That'll be in the later part of the afternoon, though. So don't don't think that we're done as soon as we get those CPI numbers, right? Because we've got that, yes, but there's still a lot of other things on the table. This won't be much of a surprise, but all of the sectors are flat. Nothing's really going on out there. Everybody's waiting on this number. Keep track of your Forex pairs this morning because that's also going to be a really big deal. When we're looking through these sectors, these are like the old school legacy S&P sectors, right? And it doesn't really give us a perspective on things like the EV market, the crypto market, pot stocks. So we have to make our own sectors for that, right? These ETFs are nothing more than a basket of stocks that we use that all belong to the same sector, industry, sub industry. So when we go to make our own, like this EV list, it's a collection of the same thing, right? Go out and we get the EV names, throw them in the list. We're all basically flat here, except for this blowout move in Renault. Take a look at the crypto names. Now remember, these are not coins. These are names that are heavily invested in coin or heavily invested in blockchain. Now those are doing really good this morning, but as usual, it's because crypto is decoupled from the rest of the market. And I had someone mention the other day that they were surprised to see the move in crypto that day was not in sync with the market. And I don't know where that concept came from, but if you are in doubt of the synchronization of a market, if you think that there's a correlation between Bitcoin and the NASDAQ or the NASDAQ and the bonds or whatever it is that you think there may be a correlation with, there's indicators that you can use to check that. Right? Start with something simple like a fast beta. Just bring up the fast beta and look at it because it will compare what's going on with these two markets. There's also indicators like price ratio and things like that on Thinkorswim. Right? You don't have to guess. You don't have to put your eyeball at it and kind of turn your head and squint and peek at it. Pot stocks. This would be another one where I would expect that they would do their own thing, having no relation or connection or correlation with the CPI. Once the news comes out, good or bad, all you have to do, if it goes against whatever it is that you're expecting, say it goes down and you don't want to trade downward, there are plenty of names that will still be moving to the upside. There always is, right? Start with that January list that we brought out, where we went over to the CBOE and grabbed the most liquid traded companies for January. Use that list, or just bring up your Thinkorswim and run everything on a, if it quote has weekly options scan. To do that, just click on watch list. They're alphabetized. You want weeklies, you can go to weeklies, right? Just like that. Because if you're going to trade options, you want to trade things that are liquid. It should at least have weekly options. Companies earn the right to have weekly options. They don't just choose to have weeklies. So if it's not liquid enough to have earned the right to have weekly options, it's not liquid enough. And just because it has weekly options doesn't mean it's going to be liquid enough, but that's a good place to start. That's why we've been using the CBOE list. Disney blowout earnings last night. It was really the subscriber numbers that got it. Uber, MU, Twitter's doing really good this morning with the, well, they were. Their report came out really nice. Roku's getting a little bit of sympathy. So when you're going through these names, think about their peer group, right? What industry, what sub industry, who are their peers? Is there a sympathy play? And otherwise, we're just going to be waiting on the numbers. So a pretty simple, pretty easy morning briefing. The the MES put trade that we put on the other day, its target yesterday. This is the trade that I've been talking about for getting free education at the Bullish Bears. It's $100 a month to have a monthly access to the Bullish Bears. One trade a month can pay that off. This is the one trade that we've been putting on. We sold the 4,000 put on the MES. Now, if you're kind of new to options and you don't understand that very well, as long as the MES stays above 4,000, then you make money. We sold that put for $500. So the longer it stays above it, the more of that $500 we get. Well, yesterday it passed 25%. That was $125 a profit, give or take a couple dollars. And think about how simple this trade is. You go out, you sell a put at the 4,000. Can the MES go to 4,000? I mean, yeah, technically it could, but it's not very likely. Certainly wouldn't happen in a day. You'd have plenty of time to manage it. Why the MES? Well, if you sell a put on SPY and you have a cash account, you need $43,000 of buying power. You sell a put in SPY and you have a margin account, then you need $9,000 of buying power. You sell an MES put, you need $2,000. $2,000 for buying power reduction. You could get 3 of these for the cost of one SPY put. Plus, look how far out I am. I sold the 4,000 strike put for $500, right? And all we got to do is stay above 4,000. So if you took that trade on the call out, it's past $100 profit. You could lock it down and go to put on another one, or you could just leave it on, right? Leave it on and put on another one. I wouldn't put on another one though until after these CPI numbers. Don't get hung up on options on futures and their values, right? We sold this put, it was 99.50. It's not really 99.50, right? When it comes to futures, got to use the multiplier. 99.50 times 5, we got $497.50 worth of credit. That's how you run the multiplier on options on futures, right? So we come in, we look at the futures. I think I sold the April. You see these values, that's not your credit. If you was thinking, wow, okay, I'll just sell that one. Take 153.25, multiply that by 5, that's your credit. So, it's not like a regular option. All right, everybody, that's it. Short and sweet, simple and easy. Be careful today, right? If the CPI numbers go good, we're going to be rebuilding back into the swing trades. So, we'll be looking to do afternoon streams where I come in and start building up the portfolio again, analyzing the trades, taking the trades, and then reviewing the trades, posting whether they are still open, if they needed to be traded, rolled, closed. We haven't done it for a while because we've been in this downturn and I didn't want to open any new trades in this system for that. But you can see we keep track of the trade history. There's the streaming replay, the chat where I'm doing it all live and talking with you guys about it. We're going to be doing those should these numbers come out right. And we start heading back up because we'll have between now and March at the Fed meeting, or at least a week before that, to get some good trades on. Some not a duration trade, right? But a good 3 week, maybe a month. So be on the lookout for that. I'll throw the notice in the large caps chat, giving you guys plenty of time to let you know I'm going to go live before I do it. That way I don't just show up on 10 minutes right beforehand and say, okay, we're going to do it. Right? Those are live trades we'll be doing. It's not paper trades. It's not a paper account. It's the public account that I use on Tasty Trades, and there's no paper trading on Tasty Trades. That's it, everybody. Be careful.